Hello everyone. The topic of this clip is happiness is an attitude, unhappiness is a choice. The tragedy of human history is decreasing happiness in the midst of increasing comforts. There is no fixed definition of happiness. The happiest of people don't necessarily have the best of everything. They make the most of what they have. Happiness is a feeling you experience when you appreciate the positive things in your life. It is an experience of blissfulness of our inner being. But we expect others to make us happy. No one can make us happy, especially those who are unhappy themselves. Happiness is self-generated, and anything internal is attitude-based. We will divide the understanding of this topic into two parts. The topic says happiness is an attitude. How can it be an attitude? Isn't it dependent on what is happening around us on the external front? Well, what is happening around us is mostly not under our control. Traffic on the road, for example, weather conditions, what someone else does or says to disturb us. So it is how we perceive happenings around us that determine our being happy or not. Can we control traffic on the road? Yes, by not going out if not necessary. Do we do that? Do we combine our chores as to not make multiple trips? Well, if you do that, then you're doing the right thing. Can we change the weather? No. Enjoy it. If you can't enjoy it, at least don't crib. Can you control what others do or say that disturbs you? Mostly we can't. But if you can, believe me, you are blessed. Also, depending on others to make you happy is like walking on crutches while you still have feet. If they can't make you happy, then don't allow them to make you unhappy also. But we do get disturbed when someone says something not so pleasant to us or about us. It is an attitude to not let what others say or do to affect your happiness. So what you did was that you didn't allow these to bother you. It is usually small things which we make big in our minds that leads to unhappiness. Life is more about how you take it. Isn't that an attitude, a perception? So happiness is an attitude. Well, let us now list down what makes us happy. The pandemic taught us a lot. The fear, trauma, uncertainties we all went through, we learned that happiness was in being together. It gave us the strength to face the uncertainties together. Sharing was another aspect that came out more intensely as people went out of their way to help others. We all know the saying, God helps those who help themselves. Well, the second part of the saying says, God helps those more who help others. It proved the point that sharing does not reduce what you have. Does a candle lose any of its light by lighting another candle? They say shared grief is half the sorrow. Happiness when shared is doubled. Sharing was accompanied with kindness. Kindness is a language the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Secondly, our list and understanding of gratitude changed. We realized the value of small things and became grateful for what was granted to us. A positive attitude is the biggest wealth that can help create anything valuable. Continue with this attitude, maintain a daily diary of things you are grateful for. During the pandemic, we became aware of the fact that we don't need too much. We could do with very little. We don't realize it, but we clutter our lives with possessions, things. Well, it is simple to be happy, but it is difficult to be simple. Be contented. It is a major contributor to happiness. We have all heard the saying, health is wealth. We realized how important health is. Don't take it for granted. Take care of it. So we realized that happiness is internal. And since it is internal, the mind plays an important role in maintaining happiness. Keep the mind occupied in activities you enjoy doing. Because we all know the saying, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. The second part of the topic states, unhappiness is a choice. This is the difficult part. Why would anybody choose to be unhappy? Sounds weird, no? So if we were to eliminate those aspects from our life that make us unhappy, we will restore happiness, which is our real nature. The first one is self-pity. It leads to attracting the sympathy of others. It attracts negative energy, leaving us unhappy. Stop self-pitying yourself. There are people worse off than you. Stop telling people your sob stories. No one is interested in listening to them. Next, ask yourself this question. Do I feel happy when someone else is doing better than me? Stop. Jealousy is another trait that makes us unhappy. Our teeth are smiling, but is our heart. Learn to feel happy in the progress and happiness of others. Now comes the most difficult one. Expectations. Can we live without expectations? I would say definitely not. So there are certain expectations that are relevant. Expecting our children to take care of us in our old age is not an expectation. It is something they are required to do or should do. Expectations that take away our happiness is when we create a virtual envelope and start putting slips of what we did for others. These slips are basically reminders of what they should do for us, or rather what we did for them, thus creating an expectation. This is the expectation which is avoidable. I'll tell you a short story on this. Once I was standing on the pavement and this acquaintance of mine, he just drove by and he stopped the car and he gave me a lift. So he had to take a little detour and drop me home. Few days later, he was standing on the pavement and I was passing by. I didn't even see him. I didn't look at him. In his mind, he had created an envelope that I had given Kushal a lift. So he was very disgusted when I did not stop. He thought that I was very rude because he had done something for me and he expected something in return. Would he have had the same feelings if he had not given me a ride in his car? Think about it. Probably not. Second kind of expectation is for appreciation. Build reputation. It is more durable than appreciation. If you are doing something worthwhile, even if you are not appreciated right away, you will be remembered for it. It is said, expectation is predetermined disappointment. Remember that always. Don't blame people from disappointing you. Blame yourself for expecting too much from them. If your expectations are not met, then you are expecting the wrong thing from the wrong person. It is like expecting sweetness from salt. Next, let us ask ourselves this question. Do we get angry? I think we all do, at some time or the other. What happens when we get angry? We lose our peace. Learn to stay calm. Well, it may surprise you when I tell you that doing deep breathing is very helpful in controlling anger. Anger is not bad when used at the right time for the right thing. Make it a scarce practice, only then it will have value. Don't lose it on small things, it is only one letter away from danger. Our lives are full of ups and downs. There are situations in the lives of all of us that remain difficult to manage as they continue for a long time. You might be able to identify some such problems in your life that persisted. Well, the only solution to such situations is patience. It is easier said than done. People going through it only know how difficult and devastating it is to live through them. One wonders in these situations, why me? Why am I going through this? Am I not entitled to some happiness for myself? Why do I need to compromise always? We all know that nothing is permanent in life, so believe in the fact that this too shall pass. The best way to tide over these is to keep yourself busy in things that are of interest to you. Hobbies, work, sports, anything that will give you solace. Practice meditation. It is a technique to calm the mind. Lastly, is there anyone who has not been cheated, let down, deceived in life? I think we all have been through one of these. We develop hatred towards those who did that to us. We carry a grudge. Believe me, a grudge is the heaviest thing to carry. So learn to forgive. Now let us conclude by summing up the gist of all our understanding. It takes very little to be happy, and it takes a lot to be unhappy. Life is short. Enjoy life now. It has an expiry date. Smile while you still have teeth. You were not born a winner or a loser. You were born a chooser. So, choose to be happy. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed watching this clip.